Hello, for those of you who are new to our page or just happen to see this video, my name is Heather Bell. I'm mom to 8 children, and today, finally, I'm gonna be baking Christmas cookies for our family of 10 plus 2. Gideon's home from school and he said, Mom, all I wanna do is eat Christmas cookies, watch Christmas shows. And I'm like, I haven't really done much baking. So today, everybody asked me, what are you doing, Mom? And I said, I'm baking. So I have everything lined out. It literally took me an hour and 10 minutes to get all my ingredients out. And so these are my handy dandy yellow notebooks. Everybody asked me, where do you come up with your recipes? These are my sketch pads where I just write things down, cross things out. And so just to make it a little easier, I like to be prepared before I start baking. And so I have written down everything. So this is the list that the kids want me to do. They want me to make monster cookies. Hailey's actually obsessed with my monster cookies. When I made them for the boys, they were, I can't even tell you how good they were. She literally said, Mom, that's the best cookie you've ever made. I'm like, oh, okay. And then my traditional chocolate chip cookies. And I'm not gonna tell you who asked for what. I mean, you kind of know about Hailey, but I'm gonna surprise you and let you know later. And then no-bake cookies. I had a couple people ask for no-bake cookies. Next up is molasses cookies. My mother-in-law makes the best molasses cookies dipped in white chocolate. And so I'm gonna be making those. And then lemon crinkle cookies. So they're similar to like a cocoa crinkle. Like, you know how you can do different kinds of cookies and they kind of open up. And so these are gonna be lemon ones. I actually love lemon. I really love the picks. I love the picks. And then blossom cookies, those ones where you put the Hershey Kisses on top. I make those every single year. I'm just so far behind this year. It's just been so busy. And then white chocolate macadamia nut, cranberry nut cookies. I know a couple of you guys have been asking for this recipe. Well, these are another of my favorite. And also one of my special people asked for them. And then Oreo cookies. Me making Oreo cookies. You actually add Oreo pudding to them and like Oreo crushed Oreos. Oh my goodness. They look amazing. Never made those before. This is my first time. Snickerdoodles. I'm not a fan of snickerdoodles, but one of my lovies are, so I'm gonna make them. And that looks like that's it. So I have all my recipes written down here. I thought this is gonna be a lot easier to do, you know, when I start getting everything going, just because to go back and forth, look at my old videos or look at my, you know, find that recipe that I have written down, because I have a ton of these, you guys, like a ton. And so I just really like to be prepared when I cook. So the first up we're gonna do is monster cookies. Super excited, so let's get baking. You're gonna start by creaming together 1/2 cup of softened butter, just makes it easier to mix. And then also 1/2 cup of shortening. So after you get that really nice and mixed together, you're gonna then add 1 cup of packed brown sugar. Mix that really, really good together. And then next up, it's gonna be your 3 large eggs and then 1 tablespoon of vanilla. You're gonna mix that again, just make sure it's all mixed well. And then after that, you're gonna then add 1.5 cups of peanut butter. Make sure you use the regular peanut butter, don't use the all natural, because like I said before, you want those oils and stuff in there. So you're gonna mix that really, really good. And once that looks great, you're then gonna add your 4.5 cups of quick oats. I actually mix my quick oats with my old-fashioned oats. I just like the texture a lot better. And then 2 teaspoons of baking soda and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then you're gonna mix that together again. You might have to do this a little faster with like your mixer speed because there's just so much in the bowl. Once you get that mixed really, really well, I wanted to keep these as a Christmas theme. So I added 1 cup of mini chocolate chips, 1 cup of regular chocolate chips, 1 cup of red and green M&Ms, and then also 1 cup of white chocolate chips. You're gonna bake them at 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. I decided to make them like Christmassy themed, so I used the red and green mini M&Ms, just make them Christmas. And in the past, I've added like the peanut butter chocolate chips, but this time I added the white cheesecake chocolate chips just to kind of keep it Christmassy. When I asked everybody last night like what they wanted, most of them said chocolate chips. I said, yeah, but I make those all year. What would you like for Christmas that I don't normally make? And so then they all started coming up with some different things. So you probably think that Robert asked for these, but Robert did not, even though he is my peanut butter guy. he actually asked for, oh, flinging chocolate chips here. Hailey asked for these. So now all I'm gonna do is stick them on the pan. We're gonna bake them at 350 for about maybe 10 minutes. Be very careful because these are really easy to overcook because there's like no flour, so they're gonna rise a little bit because of the leavening agents that we put in it, the baking soda, you know, but so when they start to crisp on the edges, you're gonna pull them out because remember, they're gonna continue to cook. But Hailey says these are hands down the best cookies that I've ever made. When you're putting these on the tray or the pans, I like to use a big old-fashioned tablespoon. So when you put these on the tray, they are gonna seem like they're falling apart and they're gonna be wet. So they're gonna be wet. So if you start putting them on and you're like, wow, this is really dry, you have missed something. And I actually used Nerdy Nuts peanut butter. My son Robert is like a partner with Nerdy Nuts. And so I end up using the pumpkin peanut butter. I wanted to use one that didn't have like a lot of chunks and stuff in it, you know, because the peanut butters are amazing. You could actually eat them with a spoon. So I did use a pumpkin flavored peanut butter, but you can just use the regular peanut butter. You know, you can use any flavored peanut butter if you want. There we go. But you want to make sure that you don't use like an all natural. You want to use like a regular peanut butter because I think the all natural doesn't have like the oils and stuff like normal ones, so they might not stay together. Okay, so I have them on and I'm only doing one batch of each because I have 11 people that I'm making cookies for. And so I can't be doubling and tripling. I'll be here like till tomorrow. So yeah, so your batter is gonna be a little wet. If you see that, can you kind of see that there? Even though it has the oats in it, you still don't want it completely dry because then when you pick up the cookies, they'll just crumble. And who wants a cookie that's just gonna crumble? I figured since my bowl already had peanut butter in it, I'm gonna do the peanut butter blossoms. So Noah and Robert both asked for me to make the peanut butter blossoms. And I'm just using regular creamy peanut butter. It's gonna be 350 probably for about 10 minutes. You're gonna make the cookies, cream the butter, then you're gonna roll them into a sugar after, and then you put the Hershey Kisses on. I haven't unwrapped the Hershey Kisses yet, so that's gonna take me a minute. So let's get going on these peanut butter blossoms. You're gonna start by creaming 2 sticks of softened butter. Now you really wanna make sure that it is nice and creamy before you move on to the sugars. Once you get that all mixed well, the next thing you're gonna do is add 1 cup of white sugar and 1 cup of packed brown sugar. And you're gonna mix that probably for about a couple minutes because you do want it light and fluffy. So once you get all that looking good, you're then gonna add 2 large eggs, 1 cup of peanut butter, mix that again really, really well. You want it kind of nice and smooth texture for the cream mixture. Peanut butter is so hard to work with. So you're gonna mix that together and then you're gonna add 3 cups of all-purpose flour and 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and then you're gonna mix that again. These cookies are just so easy to make, and I'm a peanut butter freak. Like, I love peanut butter, so this was wonderful because my son Robert loves peanut butter, I do, and so does Noah, so I was pretty excited about this pick. I'm doing pretty good, cookie number 2. So now all you're gonna do is you're gonna take these out, form them into balls, roll them in the sugar, and then you're gonna wanna make sure that your Hershey Kisses are ready to go because the minute that you take them out of the oven, you have to get those Hershey Kisses on there so they can melt a little bit. Depending on how big you want. I mean, I don't want them too small, you know? So you're just gonna keep doing this, roll them in the sugar. And you don't have to space them out too far because they rise more up than out. So they aren't gonna like really spread, so you don't have to worry about them. That might be a little big. You don't really have to worry about them spreading out into each other. I was thought about making 2 batches because 2 of my kids really like these, but because I'm making so many cookies, I really didn't feel like I had to make 2 batches. All right, continue doing this. And my oatmeal cookies are almost done. I have my blossom cookies in. I'm just opening these super fast because it doesn't take long to cook the cookies. And I wanna make sure that I can get all of these Hershey Kisses on. I also have mini Reese cups that I'm gonna put on some of them too. So you know, if you want to make sure you get them all done, maybe open some up before you put them in the oven, but you do want to put them on right away. And once you put them on the cookies, don't touch them because they're going to heat the bottom of the chocolate. So if you try and adjust them or move them, the whole like Hershey Kiss will collapse and it'll be like a puddle of chocolate on top, which is okay. But if you want the Hershey Kiss look on the top, you know, to make the blossoms, just put them on. And if they're crooked, it's okay. Your family's gonna love them whether they're crooked or not. So now I'm in a race to get all of these open before my cookies come out. And I'm a super fast opener, so I think I can do it. Look, I can even do it without barely looking. Look at that. Yeah, I had to look. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, I'm gonna slow down a little bit. All right. Next up, we're gonna throw these on top of our peanut butter cookies. I have the monster cookies are done. These came out. Sorry, I thought I was videoing. And so I got some Rolos thinking maybe I might need more, but I didn't. And I might have rolled them a little too big. So the bigger ones, I put the Hershey, the Reese cup in, and then the smaller ones, I put the Hershey Kiss. And these cooked a little too fast. These pans are really, really nice. They're new pans that I got. And they cooked a lot faster than my older pans. Oh gosh, I forgot one. There we go. There we go. So I would suggest maybe just making a batch at a time so you can get all the Hershey Kisses in right away because they're gonna set up like super fast. So I just have one more batch to go, but they look good though. I mean, so far, so good. I got 2 done, so that means 3 people. So I got Hailey done, Robert done, and Noah done. Now it's time to, I think I'm gonna do like my original chocolate chip cookies. David and Gideon asked for just like the plain chocolate chip cookies, so those are next. I'm doing good. I have the peanut butter blossoms done, the monster cookies done, and now it's time to get my traditional chocolate chip cookie recipe done. I'm gonna double it because my family loves the chocolate chip cookies. So I know I said I was gonna do just 1 batch of each, but for these, I'm gonna double it. Start by creaming 2/3 cup of butter that's softened and 2/3 cup of shortening. Make sure that it's nice and fluffy. When you're done with that, you're then gonna add 1 cup of white sugar and then 1 cup of packed brown sugar. Of course, this looks like more because I am gonna be doubling my recipe. You're gonna cream those together until it's nice and smooth and fluffy. Once that's done, then you're gonna be adding 2 large eggs, and then also 2 teaspoons of vanilla. You're gonna mix that again until it's nice and smooth. This is really, you guys, you can't go wrong with this cookie. I've never made it that it hasn't worked. Then in another bowl, you're gonna combine 3 cups of flour, a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of baking soda, and a package of vanilla instant pudding mix. Whisk that together. Once that's combined well, you're then gonna add half of your batter or half of the dry mix to your batter. Mix that really, really well. It might take a little bit. You might have to turn up the speed on your mixer. And then once that's mixed well, you're then gonna add the other half of your dry mixture to that. And it might be a little stiff to start, but once you add all of the flour and it kind of mixes in there, you're gonna see that it's gonna just be perfect and it's gonna smell wonderful because not only do you have the vanilla in there, but you also have the vanilla pudding. And it's about 3 tablespoons is what's in each packet. And then next up, it is a cup of semi-sweet chips and then a cup of mini chips. But you can add any chips you want, but this is, I just like doing the different sizes just for texture. Mix that really, really well. Then, of course, you're going to bake them at 350 for 10 to 12 minutes. My mother always told me when I made these that I had to use not a scooper like I do for my other cookies, but to use a tablespoon because they're not supposed to look perfect. They're supposed to be, you know, not like perfectly round. And my mom actually shared this recipe with me. I have been asking for years, like, Mom, please, give me your chocolate chip recipe. And she's like, it's a secret, it's a secret. I'm, come on, Mom, please. And then she finally gave it to me for my birthday. I think my 50th birthday, maybe. I'm not really sure when she gave it to me. It hasn't been too long. And they are absolutely amazing. I've never made a batch of these and they weren't good. Like, I mean, the dough is perfect. You can actually use this recipe for like a base if maybe you want to do some other flavored cookies. I like to change this up and use like different chips, which I'm going to be doing today, actually. I'm going to be making, next up is my white chocolate macadamia nut cranberry cookies. And I don't know if I told you guys this, but this was, so Gideon and David are the ones that asked for these cookies. And I'm like, okay, but I mean, I make them all the time, like, but we love them. And you know, of course, Gideon's at college, and so he doesn't get these cookies all the time. But, and the batch actually looks really good. It's a little stiffer than I'm used to, but it's really nice. So nice and soft still. And so these, I make them big. And so these will spread out a little bit. So be careful when you cook them. I've been having so many people message me like, I need this cookie recipe. I need this cookie recipe. I'm like, I'm getting it. I'm going to be doing it right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take a picture of each of my recipes because, you know, I wrote them in my handy dandy yellow notebook. So I'm going to take a picture of each of them and do like a little short video, and then you guys can screenshot it or write it down at the end of this. So all my recipes that you'll see, I'm not going to put them in the description because I'm making like 9 cookies today, and that description is going to be like 2 pages long. So I will, at the end of this, just take a small video of each one of them. Then you can pause it. You can write down the recipe. And if you have any questions, you can ask me. But I did double this because I knew that my family would love this. And I think I'm going to double the no bakes too because, ooh, they really like no bakes too. And that was on the list too. All right, so now it's time to get these in the oven. But I'm missing a baking pan. I have 5 of these, and I can mass produce cookies with more baking pans, and I'm missing one, and it bothers me. It bothers me when something in my kitchen is missing. Okay, I need to focus. Got the dough ready for my white chocolate macadamia cranberry nut cookies. Same batter as the chocolate chips. I'm just gonna add different. So I have 1 cup of white chocolate chips, and then a 1/2 cup of cheesecake chocolate chips, and then about 1 cup of dried cranberries. And this is 10 ounces, so this is a little over a cup of macadamia nuts. I try to crunch them up so there's whole ones and small ones. All right, now I'm just gonna mix this, and these are gonna be the next ones that I make. And these were for David Richards, Hailey's fiance, my soon-to-be son-in-law. I'm doing really good. It's only 1:45. The snow is supposed to stop at 1, but it hasn't. But I'm okay with that because I want snow for Christmas. So I've gotten the regular chocolate chips ready, the monster cookies, the blossoms, my cranberry macadamia nut white chocolate cookies are done. And so now I'm gonna be doing Joshua's Oreo cookies because that's what he asked for his favorite cookie is Oreo. And I said, well, Oreos are already made. So how about I make up a cookie that has your Oreos in it? And he said, okay, so here we go. Start by creaming together 1 cup of softened butter, 1/2 cup of brown sugar packed, and then 1/2 cup of white sugar. Once that's mixed really, really well, you're then gonna add in 1 package of Oreo cookies and cream instant pudding mix. These cookies smell so good to make. Ugh. And then 2 large eggs, a teaspoon of vanilla. You're gonna mix that again till it's nice and creamy and smooth. Probably about a minute. Next up, it's gonna be 2 1/4 cups of flour and then a teaspoon of baking soda. Mix that really well, probably, I don't know, maybe about 2 minutes. Once that's mixed well, you're then gonna grab a spoon and you're gonna fold in about 15 crushed Oreos, and also 1 cup of white chocolate chips, or you could do 1 cup of cheesecake chips. Not chocolate, but white chocolate. Mix that really well. Now cook. These Oreo cookies smell so great. Oh my goodness. So I just chopped up about, I don't know, maybe a sleeve. You know how they come in 3s? So I took the middle sleeve, just kind of crunched them up. I didn't do them too small because I want the big chunks of Oreo in them, but they smell absolutely amazing. It calls for all butter. I really thought about doing my shortening with it, but I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna stick to the recipe. And the recipe that I had found, I actually deviated from it because, you know, that's what I do. And it didn't call for chips, but I thought, wow, adding the cream cheese chips would be really, really good to it. you know, like to add to the Oreos. Plus I feel like it has to have like another component, because you don't want like these big chunks and then it's like big chunks plus dough. And so I thought, no, I'm gonna add the chips to it just to kind of give it a little bit more texture. So yeah, these smell really good, you guys, like really, really good. Josh is gonna love these. And I'm not really sure how they cook up. I don't really know, because this is the first time I've ever made them. But if they go well, I'm definitely gonna add this to my list of cookies, favorite cookies. I'm saving my last cookies to the end, especially like the no bakes. I'm gonna do them last because, you know, with no bakes, you really have to be like on the money because you'll lose them in a heartbeat. And so I think the next ones that I'm gonna do is Brendon. So he really loves the Snickerdoodles, but they have cinnamon in them. So I didn't wanna do them until I was gonna be doing other ones. And so I do have to do my molasses too. So I think I'll do Brendon's and then the molasses ones. I thought Izzy was a no bake, but she wasn't. She was actually the molasses dipped in white chocolate. I got that recipe from my mother-in-law. I have a recipe of my own for molasses cookies, but hers was so good. So I called her up and I'm like, hey, can I get that molasses cookie recipe? And she's like, absolutely. And so she called me back. I'm like, okay, perfect. She's like, good luck. So yeah, I'll do those next because I don't want to have to wash the bowl. And so that way, if I keep like cinnamon ones together, ones with just regular batter, then I don't have to keep rinsing it. And so it's worked out just perfect. Okay, so next up is gonna be Brendon's Snickerdoodles. Oreo cookies are in the oven. They smell amazing, amazing. So I have everything ready for the Snickerdoodles. And I have to tell you, I don't like Snickerdoodles. I don't. And so Brendon's like, you know what I want, Mom? I'm like, Snickerdoodles? He's like, yeah. I said, I don't like him. He goes, fine, don't make them. I mean, he was kidding. But this is like one of the cookies I honestly do not like. I don't know if it's because of the cream of tartar that gives it that kind of like an aftertaste to them. I thought cardamom was in Snickerdoodles because I only make them I don't make them often unless Brendon says, hey Mom, will you make these for me? So I'm gonna make a whole batch for him. He's gonna love them. But I got everything laid out and it's now 2:20 and I only have my molasses cookies, my no bakes, and I think that's all I have. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. So now it's time to get these cookies for my sweet Brendon. Oh my goodness, that guy, he makes me laugh so much. He's hilarious, that kid. Oh my goodness. And let me tell you really fast, we had a Christmas program this weekend and Brendon was like the main part because he runs our youth group. And then Izzy and Noah were also in it and they had to memorize their parts and sing and it was so sweet. And so he's dating Madison. They've been dating for just over a year. And he asked all of her family if they would come. And so they came and watched the program. Then we had them over for dinner and I made bacon, green beans with like bacon and onions. I made homemade mac and cheese. Her mom made coleslaw. Then we had our pulled pork. So we had some left over from our party, which I think I'll be making pulled pork again today. And so it was just a nice time. We never met them. And her Uncle Jack, or her Grandpa Jack, she lives with and kind of takes care of him. And so I'm always giving them leftovers. And finally, after a year of feeding him and not meeting him, I'm like, finally! So we hugged. He's like, oh, you're the one that gives me all the treats and all the dinners. And so it was just sweet to meet him. And so I sat by him at lunch and we talked. And oh my goodness, he is like adorable. So yeah, so I'm really proud of Brendon. He's doing so good with the youth. And just inviting all their family to church. I mean, so sweet. I mean, we had the best Sunday ever. It was just so, so nice. And then today, snow, which I'm very happy about. I don't mind at all. Okay, well now, Snickerdoodles. You're gonna start by creaming 1 cup of softened butter till it's nice and fluffy. Then you're gonna add in 1/3 cup of packed brown sugar and then 1 2/3 cup of white sugar. And you're gonna mix that together. Next up, you're gonna then add your 2 large eggs and then 2 teaspoons of vanilla. You're gonna beat that again probably for another minute. After that's nice and fluffy and smooth, you're then gonna add in your 3 1/4 cups of flour. Mix that again. And last, we're gonna be adding our 1 teaspoon of baking soda and then 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and our cream of tartar, which is 1 1/2 teaspoon. Mix that together again really well. And then the last thing we're going to add is our 1 1/2 tablespoons of cinnamon. Once you've added that, you're going to mix that really, really well. And then the next up is you're going to be adding into a pie shell 1/3 cup of sugar and 1/2 tablespoon of cinnamon. You're going to roll your doughs into about 1 to 2 inches of like the size of the ball, and then you're going to roll it into the cinnamon sugar and bake those at 350 for about 10 minutes. It's 10 to 3, and now I'm doing the molasses cookies for Izzy, and I did forget that Madison wanted the lemon crinkles. So I have these and 2 more to go, and I'm absolutely done. Brendon's are out cooling. I'll show you guys in a second, just kind of my counter starting to fill up. I'm going to be like in a little tiny space here cooking soon because I'm already almost done to the stove with cookies on the counter. So now it's time to make these molasses cookies of my mother-in-law's. She normally dips them in white chocolate on the end. I'm actually gonna drizzle white chocolate all through them because I love the white chocolate with the molasses cookies. So I think I'm gonna drizzle them instead of dip them this time. Start by creaming 3/4 cup of softened butter. Once you've done that, you're gonna then add 1 cup of white sugar. You're gonna mix again until it's mixed well and it's nice and fluffy, probably about 2 minutes. Next up, you're gonna add 1 large egg and then 1/4 cup of dark molasses. After you've combined those two, you're gonna cream them together. I don't know, maybe another 2 minutes till it's nice and smooth. There's no chunks, it's nice and fluffy looking. After you've mixed that really well, now you're gonna add in your dry ingredients, and that is 2 1/4 cup of flour, 2 teaspoons of ginger, a teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 teaspoons of cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon of cloves, and then 1/4 teaspoon of salt. These cookies smell so good. After you've combined all of that, you're then gonna mix it again. And then in a shallow like pie dish, you're gonna combine some cinnamon and sugar, and you're going to roll these out just like we did the snickerdoodles in about 1 to 2 inch balls. Roll them in the cinnamon sugar, bake them at 350 for about 10 to 12 minutes. I don't adjust my temperature. I cook all my cookies the same. Once that's done, I'm going to melt some white chocolate in the microwave, making sure to check it every 30 seconds. And I'm going to drizzle that all over my molasses
I have only
cookies.
2 cookies left to go.
So
These are going to be the lemon crinkles for Madison, and then my husband wanted no bakes. So I have everything ready to go. I'm on the end of the counter because the cookies are completely covering the counter. I'm going to show you guys. Look at this. Yeah. So I am at the very end trying to get the rest of the cookies going. So now the lemon crinkles. And it's a 10 to 4 right now. So it's been about almost 4 hours, but I feel good. My legs feel fine. I'm not tired. I'm so excited to have this all done in one day. And then we can just start enjoying cookies and Christmas shows.
Start by combining 1 1/2 cups of flour, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/8 teaspoon of baking soda. Whisk that together, set that aside, and then into another bowl, you're then going to combine 1 1/2 cup of softened butter, 1 cup of white sugar, cream that for about 2 minutes till it's nice and fluffy, and then add in 1 large egg, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 tablespoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice, and then 1 1/2 teaspoons of grated lemon zest. This smells so good. I love lemon flavored everything. Mix that till it's all combined, and then add in your flour mixture. You're going to continue mixing that until it's well combined, probably about 5 minutes. And then you're going to set that aside, and then you're going to combine 1/4 cup of white sugar and 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. Mix that. You're going to roll the dough into that, probably about 1 to 2 inch balls. Roll it in there, and then you're also going to bake it at 350 for about 12 minutes.
The lemon crinkles are in the oven. It is now 4:05, and I'm doing the very last thing is the no-bake cookies. The reason I did them last is because you can't, like you have to be on it, right? It gets to a boil, 1 minute, you add stuff, you take it off, you add stuff. And so it's really important with no bakes that you follow the directions precisely and that you're on it, because they can either over mix them and then they harden and they're crumbly, or you can undermix them where they won't set. So I thought, well, let's just do it last. And then the lemon ones are in, and my husband came in and he's like, oh, he goes, I really want a cookie, but I know you got to order, so I'll wait till I get back. So him and Hailey and Izzy are in town. Every Christmas, he takes them out to dinner. He buys them something special, and then they go shopping for mom. So I have the boys tonight, whoever comes over, and we're just gonna veg, and we're gonna have leftovers, and then I'll give them their cookies, because each one of them gets the cookies. I wanted to make it for each of them, and then just kind of hang out. So last up, no bakes. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna put a stick of butter, and then the 2 cups of sugar, the 1/2 cup of milk, and then the 1/4 cup of cocoa. And we're gonna slowly bring this to a boil, making sure to mix it. So I'm slowly bringing it to a boil. You don't want it to overcook or burn, so you want to make sure that you stir it the entire time. It looks really nice. Can you guys see that? It looks really nice. And so you slowly want it to boil, and then once it boils, you just take out your whisk and you just time it for exactly 1 minute. You're going to take it off the heat. We're going to add the oats, stir, add the peanut butter, stir, add the vanilla, stir, and then put them on the parchment paper. So easy. Now we're going to take this off, and we are going to time it for 1 minute off the heat. We're going to stir in the oats first. So I was timing my minute, and my little minute thing, it was going back and forth. It doesn't work. My clock has stopped. All right. I got the oats in there, and you gotta be fast with it because it sets up fast. Now the peanut butter. I don't do these a lot. Hailey does, and Hailey does a really good job with them, but I don't do them much because I just can't figure it out. This is my friend Tina's recipe, and I said, can I please have your recipe? It's usually a no-fail. She's like, absolutely. And then the vanilla. There we go. Okay, looks good. Get that all mixed in nice. Usually with these, you know if you've lost them. You can tell if they're shiny or if they right away go hard. I feel like mine are gonna be gone. They don't have that shine to them anymore. Ah! You just gotta be so fast with them. We'll see though. Maybe I'll get lucky. I might have let them boil too much because my second hand on my clock just kept going back and forth. You go to 44, 43, 44, 43. All right. And then for some reason, my powdered sugar like melted into my cookies. So once the cookies came out, you're supposed to like roll them in the powdered sugar. I think I had too much white sugar, and so I had to sprinkle the powdered sugar on top. That's okay. No, I might be okay. I might be okay. All right. If not, I might have to just try it again. Make sure I time them this time instead of thinking that the clock's working. All right. I don't know. I don't know. So here are the cookies. I have completed them all. I actually did another batch for my husband because they set way too fast. That was my recipe, not my friend Tina's. That was Tina's, and don't they look better? Way better. So here it is. The no bakes are for my husband. The lemon is for Madison. The molasses is for Izzy. The snickerdoodles are for Brendon. The Oreos are for Josh. The cranberry, macadamia, and white nut are for Dave Richards. The chocolate chip cookies are for Gideon and David. No bakes are for Hailey, and then the peanut butter blossoms are for Robert and No bell. So here it is. I did it, you guys. Holy cow, I started. It is now 4:45. I started at 11 o'clock. I'm not sure how many I made, so I'm gonna count them really fast and I'll let you know. So Noah and I counted, we have about 350 cookies. I have 9 different kinds. I am going to, right after this, I'm gonna take a video of each of the recipes. I'm not gonna put it in the description because it's too much. So here it is, my Christmas baking cookie day is done. Now I'm gonna give them to my kiddos and they're ready for cookies. You guys wanna sneak one, don't ya? So here are the recipes like I promised. Just make sure you don't overcook the monster cookies and make sure you use regular peanut butter. And then with the chocolate chip cookies, do not overcook these. These are a no-fail cookie. You're not gonna go wrong with this recipe. And then with the no bakes, you have to get it, like it has to be go, 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 or you will lose these cookies. The molasses spice cookies, I gave you 2 recipes, mine and my mother-in-law's. They're both great, but I really love Grandma Dodie's. The lemon crinkles, I would not do white sugar and powdered sugar, just do the powdered sugar because the sugar melted into the cookies. These blossom cookies turned out amazing. Put those Hershey Kisses on right away, then do not touch them. And then with these white chocolate macadamia nuts, same recipe as my chocolate chips, just add the additional ingredients. And with the Oreo cookies, they were great, but I also gave you another option to add shortening. These smelled so good cooking, you guys. Oh my goodness. The Snickerdoodles, there's a lot of steps, but they are a no-fail cookie. Okay, I'm gonna let him sneak one. Go ahead, sneak one, I'm not looking. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me on this cookie baking day. Make sure to subscribe and like to Just Bells 10 and let us know.